What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess Total Package and Craig the British Bulldog, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic, CM Punk 2011. For audio fans, give us an Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. And don't forget exclusive content on Daily Motion at Our Wrestling Podcast. That's what I forgot in the last episode.
It's fine.
And please give us a follow on Instagram.
I'm a failure. I'm lazy. I don't post on it that much.
O.W.P 2019. That's fair enough. And any other posts you want to put out there on Facebook, you can, but I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't care.
You just look on the fucking square, you dumb shits. It's right there. Everybody puts it on their thing. Everybody does.
It's right there.
The fact that you've made Dave do this for 5 years is bullshit.
It has been over 5 years, has it not?
Because Dave is a good guy and he wants to cater to really stupid people.
Oh,
so he's not going to do it anymore.
Sweet. It's really sweet of you. That's nice. Nice of you to say that.
Dave's the only nice guy. Well, Craig and Dave are the only nice people on this podcast. Me and Cuz and Joe are dicks.
Wow. Joe might take offense to that.
He will not.
Jess, why 2011? What is the epiphany we've had here?
Nothing. So 2011. Well, first of all, CM Punk is on fire right now. You know, he is so polarizing. The journey of CM Punk is just a glorious, no problem, no controversy, just kidding. It's fucking marred with controversy, and he is a very polarizing individual. People either love him or don't love him. And his journey here, his journey to quitting and walking out kind of started here, even though he was really an indie darling in Ring of Honor. And then he came aboard and he was in the developmental for a long time, not NXT developmental. Right. Like he came up and went into the ECW brand, the WWE ECW brand, if you remember that, because Paul Heyman really liked him and wanted to bring him up and saw something in him. So he is an original Paul Heyman guy. And a lot of people do forget about that. Well, we're going to be reminded in the storyline, by the way, today, in today's wrestling. But I mean, like, yeah, he started out there, did some good stuff, you know, was ECW champion, got put up to the main roster, did the Straight Edge Society faction, which was awesome. It's in our archives and Forgotten Factions. And but then in 2011, it changed everything. His contract was coming up. His career really launched. And he got launched into the conversation of one of the greatest ever and a trendsetter. And for people who believe in Punk, they still remember this year as like the year of Punk. And it was the year of Punk. And he kind of, you know, unfortunately, he didn't realize that he was still in the middle of the PG era because Vince wouldn't fucking relinquish the shit television that he was putting on until he got forced out. So many years later, and then Punk came back to AEW, and then he finally ended coming back to WWE a couple of years ago, and Punk is just as over now as he ever was. I mean, sometimes this guy gets pops on today's television. I'm like, he's the most over guy in the fucking building. Like, and Roman Reigns might even still be in that building, to be fair. And Punk he's going to go down as a legend, and he's going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. He, you know, obviously older now, but Dave, you're going to talk about this is absolutely, without question, out of all the other years that I do, when I do so-and-so, you know, whatever date I do, you know, we've done so many people in a particular year.
We talked about John Cena's, you know, breakout year. This is kind of like that catalyst breakout.
Yes, we did John Cena in 2005, and this is the same thing. You know, I think I did Sting. We did Sting 1990. You know, we've done other things too. And this is his pivotal year. When I'm too lazy to do a legacy, I will start just pecking away at, you know, prime years. And this is the definitive year of CM Punk. Besides the year of his comeback, I think maybe this is easily like his most important year. If this year doesn't happen and have the impact that it had, I don't know if we know CM Punk the way we know him now, to be honest.
There you go. Craig's nodding in agreement. So, as they say, you know, at the horse tracks, away we go. At the end of December of 2010, Punk left the commentary team when he was rehabbing an injury after assaulting John Cena in the December 20th episode of Raw.
Can you explain what that was all about with you and John Cena?
Well, that's the only thing Cena understands is aggression. Last night, he brutalizes Wade Barrett with a steel chair. Tonight, I just gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Thanks, Punk.
You remember John Cena in the December
You shut your
21st
mouth,
episode.
John Cena.
Yeah, we gotta do an episode on him too. That's there's no way that can happen. It was an episode of SmackDown with the chair. Punk later revealed that his motives for the attacks were that he had joined and assumed control over the Nexus. Punk then made each member of the group prove themselves worthy of a spot, with some instead choosing to join the Core, which had been started by former Nexus leader Wade Barrett on SmackDown, who had some bad news down the road that he couldn't wrestle.
I got some bad news. I'm not going to be pushed anymore. I got some bad news. I'm the leader of the Core.
Some bad news.
My t-shirt money has dried up.
I got some bad news. John Cena buried the shit out of me.
It's not. None of that's untrue.
Yeah, this is all the truth.
On January 30th,
The very guy we're praising in fucking 2025 was a bit of an expert with a shovel back in the day. To be fair.
Not starting with, but including almost all of Nexus.
Yeah, yes.
Destroying
Yeah,
that.
the
Right,
entire,
right,
yeah.
yeah. They all went down. But on the January 30th, Punk and New Nexus cost Randy Orton his match with The Miz for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble as a revenge for Orton prematurely ending Punk's first World Heavyweight Championship reign in 2008. By the way, 2011, Miz is your champion. Just throwing it out there. Like, people
Yeah,
forget.
and then little things too. Punk had
time.
already done the Straight Edge Society, and he'd already won the World Heavyweight Championship. I want to say cashed in his Money in the Bank against Jeff Hardy and won the World Heavyweight Championship. So he had not been WWE Championship yet, which Dave will go on. This is why the year is so groundbreaking.
We will go on.
But he had won a version already of the World Heavyweight Championship by this point.
In turn, Orton had responded by taking out all of the New Nexus members by punting them in the head, leaving Punk alone.
Is it just the
and
name
sole
Nexus that
survivor.
didn't work? Because for some reason the Nexus name gets just the shit beat out of it. From their amazing, and we did the Nexus, a whole episode on Nexus, missed opportunities of the Nexus, because we felt like they just, this amazing debut where they fucking silenced the announce table and they beat up the announcers and ended Raw in a way that we hadn't seen really since the NWO, did something that was shocking and real. And man, and then we're just reading on here. It's just the Nexus just
Vince is
the
no,
Nexus got the
we're not
shit
doing
beat out of
that.
it. This is a great idea. I can't have that.
Can't have good ideas.
I can't have a good idea. Fuck.
Brothers don't fight. That's always my answer to any Vince. Brothers don't fight.
John
bro,
Cena
you
will
have
kill
no
the
clue.
original version, and then the secondary version will just have Orton beat him. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, which is pretty much what happened. Yeah. So it led to a match at WrestleMania on April 3rd and last man standing match on May 1st at Extreme Rules, both of which Punk actually lost his matches to.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Didn't I tell you guys?
The winner of this match, Randy Orton!
And I don't know what you would call that, a flying RKO, but whatever it was enough to keep CM Punk down for the count.
Craig, did you think anything different? Did you think that he was actually going to win the title with all that stringing up in that announcement? Like, what were your thoughts?
No, I remember it was a hot button in the dirt sheets, though. It was like they got us talking, and then so when you'll read on to what happened in the most seminal promos, it was we fully bought into this. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, it's.
I think we learned once. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but pro pipe bomb, then before Money in the Bank, then we were like, okay, we get it. But up until then, it was like
I think when you kind of give the
just wants to go to Ring of Honor.
You give the golf clap. Golf clap.
You got us.
On the June 27th, 2011 episode of Raw, CM Punk made a scathing yet highly acclaimed on-air speech, often referred to as the pipe bomb, that he hates. He hates that term, by the way, now. concerning the way in which WWE is run and its owner Vince McMahon, as well as referencing other promotions such as Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Due to this, Punk was given an in-storyline suspension from televised WWE events. Punk was later reinstated upon Cena's insistence. Upon his return, Punk ceased to appear with the remaining with the members of the New Nexus, and their group quietly dissolved, churning Punk face.
Trust me, this isn't sour grapes, but the fact that Dwayne is in the main event of WrestleMania next year and I'm not makes me sick. Oh, and hey, let me get something straight. Those of you who are cheering me right now, you are just the biggest part of me leaving as anything else. Because you're the ones that are sipping out of those collector cups right now. You're the ones that buy those programs that my face isn't on the cover of. And then at 5 in the morning at the airport, you try to shove it in my face so you can get an autograph and try to sell it on eBay because you're too lazy to go get a real job. I'm leaving with the WWE Championship on July 17th, and hell, who knows, maybe I'll go defend it in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe I'll go back to Ring of Honor.
I wonder if that was deliberate or if they just fell into that. By the way,
I think they fell into a lot of this. I think to give Vince credit, Vince had to okay everything. And I think Vince was just like, someone must have told him, like, you can't lose Punk. And I think that Vince even saw, I think
that was Heyman, Jess.
Yeah, because it was Heyman, and because of the split that ended up happening later in 2014, it's easy to overlook that Vince saw something, and at first he didn't. But I think when you got Punk on the main roster and he makes Straight Edge Society successful, he tries his best with the New Nexus bullshit, and he just everything that he was saddled with, like he did well with. And Punk is one of the greatest ever on the mic. There's no disputing how good this guy is. He could talk about himself. He could sell himself. CM Punk is one of the best mic guys I've ever heard, like in my fandom as a pro wrestling fan. I'm not a pro wrestler, God no. But yeah, so I think Vince saw something in him. And he's got tattoos everywhere. He's marketable. Like, he's got the X's on his hand. Like, there's a lot of things that you could do with Punk. And even Vince was losing his luster here, and he was an old man. And, he just kept shoving the PEG era down our fucking throat, which was all about money and advertisers, by the way. That's the only reason why he did it. And merch and all that shit. But he saw something in Punk. You have to give Vince credit. And at least he had people in his ear like Triple H. And even though Triple H ended up being a detriment to him later in the year, but he just had people in his ear going, no, dude, don't lose this guy. And he had to have made the decision when he decided to put him with Cena and they decided to do the whole, his contract's coming up. And then Vince had to have allowed the pipe bomb. He had to. I mean, Vince is the guy. And even in Punk's podcast that when he later after he left and he came back, he said that Vince approved everything. Vince told him flat out, say what you want to say. When you get to a point, I'll just cut your mic because that's the way it's supposed to be. And I'll let you know. Yeah, that's going to cut it. You'll know at that point.
And that was legit how it was supposed to happen. Right? It was incredible though.
Yeah.
At Money in the Bank, Punk defeated Cena to become the WWE champion on his final night under contract with the WWE.
For the first time since I can remember, media outlets were covering a guy who is not in contract anymore won the WWF title and took it home. People were reporting that. How could you not see that coming? When I look back now, I'm like, no, Vince would never allow it. But they did it so well. And Vince even came down to the ring in that match, by the way. And then there's a famous shot I'll put here where CM Punk jumped over the guardrail with the title and the fans were holding him up and he was kissing and saying goodbye. And then next day on social media, by the way, on Twitter, Punk posted the WWE Championship in his fridge. He opened up his fridge that was in the back of his fridge. And I remember media outlets, news outlets were interviewing him going, are you gone? He's like, yeah, I got no contract. I'm gone. And everybody believed in 2011 that wrestling somehow was real, and this guy got one over on Vince McMahon, the greatest promoter of all time, publicly traded company, all of this shit, that he fucking got everybody. People believed that for a little bit until he re-debuted, and came back and, revealed, obviously.
And CM Punk
I find it
Craig.
interesting with Money in the Bank, like talking about Mandela effects. Like he didn't come down to Cult of Personality at that point. So when you watch Money in the Bank back, it's that old kind of music, which is still kind of
It
cool.
was the fire
and, like,
fire
punk.
burns. Fire burns.
Yeah,
Kill
but
switch.
it wasn't Cult of Personality, but you always associate that with him.
You know, it's funny though, if you go back and watch it on Peacock or the network, whatever you have, they might actually change the song.
I believe
mess with your Mandela even more, right, Craig?
I believe he used Cult of Personality in Ring of Honor, and like they finally let him bring it back to the main roster at this point. Yeah.
On July 21st, Punk made a surprise appearance at a joint WWE Mattel panel at the San Diego Comic-Con where he mocked the new chief operating officer, Triple H. Did he ask him to take a drug test? Just kidding. That's not nice. Punk appeared on the July 23rd's All-American Wrestling show, showing respect to Gregory Iron, a wrestler with a cerebral palsy. That's nice. And then Mysterio won the WWE Championship tournament on the July 25th episode of Raw, only to lose it to Cena later that night. Weird. After Cena's victory, Punk returned.
I'm telling you, Cena was we celebrate him now. Cena was a dick.
Yeah.
He was a dick. I mean, Vince was booking it, but at the same time, like, Cena had no problem bearing everybody.
Cena's the new Hogan at this point.
Feed into the heel in 2025 because there's a lot of material there. There's a lot of reason to not like John Cena. I mean, he's a good guy. I'm just saying there's a lot of good shit they're gonna play off. But anyway, this is about CM Punk.
Triple H upheld both Punk and Cena's claims to the WWE Championship as legitimate and scheduled the two to a match at SummerSlam on August 14th to decide the undisputed WWE Champion, with Triple H to serve as a special guest referee. I'm already seeing problems. At SummerSlam, Punk defeated Cena, but he lost the title minutes later to Alberto Del Rio, who had cashed in his Money in the Bank contract after Kevin Nash attacked Punk.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Fuck. You said a lot. The hottest angle that you've had in years. You have people comparing CM Punk's pipe bomb and the whole, you got everybody to believe that this was real for a minute. Everybody was comparing it to Austin versus Vince at this point. And then you let Triple H step in, who, okay, years later looking back, I get the booking. WWE is all about swerving and storylines, and they've always been about production, and I get that. But you're going to read on what a fucking misstep all of this was. It's amazing that Triple H is doing so good now. But he was kind of an active wrestler here, semi-retired. But the thing is Vince was still signing off on all of it. And it's like, to build drama, they were like, we'll have CM Punk come back and announce that he did re-sign a new contract. Now he's coming out to Cult of Personality, to Craig's point. And now he's got the WWE Championship that he stole. And now they recrowned Cena as the brand new one. And now they have to unify the titles. And then you let Punk beat Cena again. So, and then they're like, swervy pants. Triple H is now the new heel. It's not Mr. McMahon. It's Mr. Triple H. And then Alberto Del Rio comes out, cashes in, wins the title. And oh shit. In their minds, in their PG minds back here, I can legitly see how they were like, it's the chase. It's the chase. But at the same time, you did a groundbreaking thing by having him do the pipe bomb, having him tell everyone I'm leaving. If I win the title, I'm leaving with no contract. And then you do it. Instead of playing on that storyline and making Punk, being chased by the Authority, they're chasing him for a reason, They were like, no, we're going to go to the classic formula where he's got to lose and then he's got to chase. And they could not change with the time. And Triple H was very new here because he was very influential in the back here. Triple H he was part of creative at this point and everything. So it's a learning. When you look back, it was such a learning process and it was just so Vince still being out of touch. But God, if they would have just kept that momentum. And then CM Punk was like Steve Austin. And Steve Austin did lose the title, by the way. A lot of people think that he won the title from Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14 and reigned for like a year. He did not. He lost the title like 3 months later. But it was all part of the Vince McMahon storyline. They were trying to desperately rehash it here. And they kind of sacrificed Punk's momentum. And then you bring Kevin Nash. Fucking what? In 2011? What? What are you doing? There were so many things that they did wrong here that they were trying to do right by. I can honestly look back as a fan and go, okay, They were trying to
see
build.
what you're
They were
trying
trying
to
to
do,
make
yeah.
money, and they were trying to build momentum and make Punk chase and make you do it. But we already believed in Punk because you got us believing in the I'm going to win the title with no contract. I did win the title. Oh my God, it's in my fridge. Oh my God, I didn't sign. And then he comes back a couple months later. Just kidding, I did resign, and now I'm the world champion. Then you beat Cena again at SummerSlam, and then this happens. It's so contrived, I guess is the best word I could say for this. And they stopped the momentum when all Vince was trying to do, and I will give him credit, I'm just trying to follow the formula, pal.
In the following months, Punk lost at Night of Champions on September 18th against Triple H.
Against
Lost
Barcy.
again.
So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got to stop again here. So on the Colt Cabana podcast, when he came out and finally spoke about why he left, he was like, and then this guy in the back that's supposed to be semi-retired, and I'm the hottest guy that they had in a long time. He beats me on a pay-per-view, and then he goes back into semi-retirement and plays the authority role. And then Colt Cabana's like, fuck, he did beat you. And CM Punk's like, he did. So they were stifling his momentum, and they were saying it was for the chase. We're trying to build, the chase. But they just there's no legit reason why Triple H should have pinned CM Punk. No fucking reason. Especially after you humiliated him at SummerSlam and you swerved him with Alberto Del Rio beating him. It doesn't make any sense.
This is it right here. One more time. May I have this dance? Pedigree. Triple H is taking it home.
Which, by the way, we all loved Del Rio back in the day.
Yeah, we did.
He was good. He's a good worker.
We regret it now, but we loved Del Rio back in the day.
Well, hey, we didn't know.
Yeah. And we didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And then, let's see. And then I lost again at Hell in the Cell on October 2nd in a WWE Triple Threat match and Hell in a Cell match against Cena and Del Rio.
Can you imagine
Vengeance.
if he put the heavyweight title on Hogan beating Iron Sheik, and then 2 months later Hogan loses to the money in the contract or whatever they would call it in the 80s, and then Hogan loses to a semi-retired Pat Patterson 2 months later, and then you know what I mean? Can you imagine?
I was gonna go Jack Tunney, but Pat Patterson.
Yeah,
is
Jack
so much
Tunney. Can
better.
you imagine
No,
what
Pat
Hulkamania
Patterson
would have looked
so
like?
much better.
Can you imagine? It's just crazy. And I'm not comparing Punk to Hogan. I'm just saying that that's the type of mindset you need to have. Let's feed your baby face. But instead, they were like, no. If you keep putting Punk in peril, people are going to cheer behind him harder. They're going to get behind him harder. It's like, no, you're just beating him. That's all you're doing is beating him with everybody.
He also lost at Vengeance with Triple H as his tag team partner against The Miz and R-Truth.
Yes, well, that's because Triple H walked away, and I get it. But still, he's getting beat. The thing is, he's getting beat all over the place. But it's building drama, Dave. It's building it. Fucking goddamn it. I'm getting angry.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
This helped transition Punk's anti-establishment voice from Triple H to John Laurinaitis, who around this time became the interim Raw general manager.
And then Triple H puts the heat on someone else. He beats CM Punk, and I'm the authority. Just kidding, John Laurinaitis is. So Punk can never get beat again. Or Triple H.
By the way,
he can never get his revenge on Triple H because now it's not about Triple H anymore. Tell me they didn't sabotage him. Tell me they didn't sabotage CM Punk.
Sounds
I'm with you.
Classic trips to me.
Yep.
Classic trips, but Craig, should John Laurinaitis be the voice of anything? I'm just asking that question.
No, I shouldn't, Dave.
No. Yeah, I mean, he's a good foil. He definitely can be made fun of. And
what did he?
Punk
Dave, read it here. I think you said he called him a name, and it's not a bad word or anything, but it's so he called him dull. He called him you're a dull man.
A dull yes man.
You're a dull man, and that's oh
perfect.
shit, that's harsh than any kind of anything else you can say.
But at least at Survivor Series on November 20th, Punk defeated Del Rio to win his second WWE Championship.
What a counter by Punk! Anaconda Vice! Anaconda Vice! Del Rio's in trouble! The champ's in trouble! Hang on! Del Rio doing all he can!
You gotta be kidding me.
CM Punk!
A great victory.
It's WWE Champion!
Punk went on to defend the title through the end of the year, retaining a rematch with Del Rio on the November 20th episode of Raw Super Show. Okay. And against both Del Rio and The Miz in a triple threat TLC match on December 18th at TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. And at the Royal Rumble on January 29th, 2012, Punk successfully defended his title against Ziggler, despite Laurinaitis acting as the outside enforcer. And that's really it. That's our 2011 episode of Mr. Punk.
So crazy.
Mr.
Like
CM.
they had lightning in a bottle and they chose to break the bottle. Like that's and let the lightning all out. Like it's so weird. Like it really is. And they were just you felt the company, and this is my big problem with Vince from the time that he bought WCW all the way until he got booted out. Like he like I can't let one person become bigger than my company. It's got to be about the brand. And you felt that push from 01 to, when was it? 19? No, 21. 21 or 22 when he got kicked out. You felt it. And it was just like, why? Like, why are you doing this? Vince just for some odd reason was just like, nope, there's a template and I'm putting all the ingredients in this template and this we're going to make the same biscuit every time. Just here's the mold, boom, boom, boom. We're not making a cookie. We're not doing anything. We're doing a biscuit. And that was what we got from the time. And it's not fair to say from 01 because the Ruthless Aggression era was fun. But I mean, like I would say from, I don't know, 2008, 9, 10, somewhere around that or whatever. It was just this cookie cutter all the way until he got kicked out. But this CM Punk thing really makes me like, it's so fascinating when you look back and you look back at all the things they thought were going to be like ebbs and flows in the storyline, but they were just derailments of Punk. It was just like, no, you killed him. You Triple H pins him, you killed him.
Well, it's
like,
not. Yeah. If he can't get back on Triple H, and then Triple H walks out and he loses to Miz and Truth, which is like, I mean, I'm not trying to dog Miz and Truth, but they're not world. Like Miz was.
Yeah, if the next match after wasn't another match with Triple H where he beats Triple H definitively, then there's no point in it. There's no point.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
You cut his legs out from under him.
You talk to so many people about when did you get back into wrestling and how many people, lapsed fans from the Attitude Era, joined back up after post Pipe Bomb. Like that was the moment people kind of got leaned back in on it. So it's like for them, and that Punk was the reason for that. And so you get 6 months later, and you're just up and down and yo-yoing.
To your point, people were chanting his name at WWE just 10 years later. When we all thought he would never come back.
I think that we're talking about it now, and maybe when we finally do a legacy on Punk, the pipe bomb really meant a lot to pro wrestling, and we don't really realize it. It really did, because like what Craig said, it brought some casuals back, and just the ripple effect of what he did, this old, out-of-touch old man didn't know how to harness that power. He knew how to do it with Hogan. He knew how to do it with Austin, but all the way here in 2011... he didn't. It's like the ramification of that was like, what's not, whoa. It's not part of my business model. And he never said that with Hogan. He never said that with Austin. He allowed it to happen. Because Hogan was when he first bought the company. Austin was when the company was on its ass. So I'll do anything to beat WCW. And then with Punk, he's all by himself. There's no competition. And he's like, that's not my business model. It's not. And he just let it go. Instead of having another boom period in pro wrestling and making a little clones like, when Austin got, you had DX, you had Mick Foley, you had all this stuff. The Rock, they couldn't make those clones because they stifled Punk. Imagine if he let Punk explode and be like the guy and like, all these other characters that probably would have developed around Punk would have been The Rock, would have been Mick Foley, would have been would have been Macho Man and Steamboat and Honky. And, it would have been just that period that spawned this whole mushroom. Instead, we were stifled as fans for a long time. And then finally now it's, they're developing characters and different characters and we're getting all these different, like levels of over in that company. And then you have the legends return like CM Punk now and Cena and all that stuff. And so Now it's going to be fine. It's going to be healthy, and we're going to start developing all these characters over the years.
Wonderful.
But this is a very frustrating year, but a very important year for Punk. If this didn't happen for Punk, even though we're picking it apart, if it didn't happen at all, Punk is not the name today that he was. That you know what I mean? Like not at all.
Not at all.
Not close.
Not at all. I mean, AEW wouldn't have the reward they would have for a short period of time.
Jesus
even
Christ!
though
Like that's again, we got to talk. I don't even know how I'm going to do a legacy of CM Punk. I could do a full 2-hour episode on just his AEW run, like and what happened and all that.
No, it's they just dropped the ball so hard with
Yeah.
it over there, but it's wild. For audio fans, give us a listen to Apple, Spotify, and Higher Radio. Watch our videos on YouTube at our wrestling channel, and look to your left for several other video options. Don't forget exclusive content also on Daily Motion at O.W.P, or give us a follow on Instagram, also at O.W.P for Jess, Craig, and myself. This is the O.W.P signing off. See you later.